We are standing in Europe, and that's Asia there. The sounds of beautiful boats mixed with the sounds of the children are playing. The whole soundscape itself is so powerful. It's layers of texture of the sound and meeting of something very modern. You can see the high rises next to the beautiful mosques. And as an artist, nothing can be more inspirational than to having somewhere that the counterpoints meets in one single spot.
Mercan Dedi is one of the most in vogue contemporary artists in Turkey, an internationally renowned musician and DJ, captivating his audience, mixing traditional Turkish Sufi music with electronic sounds. His group brings together musicians from all of Turkey's ethnic communities.
Conservative Muslim people love our music to something very open-minded, the punk alternative Greenpeace movement. That's the essence of Sufism, unifying the people, bringing them together. And now we are using this tool, not only in Turkey, but outside of Turkey, to use a wonderful communication instrument to bring different cultures and ideas together.
This year, Istanbul is one of 3 European capitals of culture, an opportunity to catch up with the key players in Turkey's contemporary art scene to discover the cultural vision of the city. This is Binu Guredi, a fashion and art photographer. She returned to Istanbul about 10 years ago after having lived in New York. She finds the city a source of inspiration, but this single mother of 4 is not happy with stereotypes.
I find that lots of people here in Istanbul are living in a bubble. Lots of things are fake and no one really wants to see the reality of things.
Her forthcoming exhibition, called Celebration of Love, is a plea against honour killings often disguised as suicides. The status of women is a recurring theme.
There's subjects that lots of people don't really want to be aware or are not aware of here in Istanbul or Turkey. And were not aware several years ago. Now they're being a bit more, but artistically, I think it's a very good way to be able to get a message across.
Her last exhibition was called Submission. Will Istanbul 2010 open a realm of possibilities to contemporary artists? Her answer is lukewarm.
Lots of friends of mine and people like me, we submitted these applications, but unfortunately none of the people I know got a positive feedback or were accepted. And frankly, I don't really see anything that's going on of any importance or anything to hold on to.
Istanbul 2010 will support nearly 500 artistic projects throughout the city and the creation of cultural centres, but the majority of the budget will go towards the city's existing heritage and the restoration of ancient jewels. This is Pyramid, the headquarters of Bedri Baykam, considered one of Turkey's leading contemporary artists and one of the most political. He's not afraid to lambast the government's cultural policy.
We talk about a grand international show and opening Turkey to the universal values of art as a European capital. All that's great. I would like to see a large modern art museum financed by the state. We don't finance that in this country. There are almost 100,000 mosques, but no modern art museums. Is there another statistic that I can give you that would help explain the situation? I don't think so. The relationship between the state and artists and writers is this. Am I going to be prosecuted? Does this book risk being banned? We have several friends who are in prison, academics, writers, journalists, who are in prison because of what they have written against government policies. I don't know if you will have the right to broadcast this interview, but let's pretend you can. Europe doesn't want to see, doesn't want to hear, and doesn't want to look.
Established in 2004, Istanbul Modern is the oldest and one of the only 2 contemporary art museums in Istanbul, mostly funded by private capital. Oya Edzabusha is the director. She says it's thanks to the current Turkish government that the museum was able to open in the heart of Istanbul.
C'est vraiment le secteur privé.
It's really the private sector that finances. In European countries it's different, but in the museums in the United States it's the same thing everywhere. There is some national and local government help, but we don't have this expectation and we're happy enough with what they offer us.
Et nous sommes assez contents de ce qui nous est proposé.
For the first time this year, the museum is exhibiting a contemporary Turkish artist, Sakis, who lives in France.
Obviously, there are a lot of artists who live abroad who are sometimes more well-known outside their own country rather than in it. But creation is very, very important. You only need 2 or 3 days in Istanbul to see the city that lives 24 hours a day and to see this creation.
The trip ends in the district of Beyoğlu, the heart of Istanbul's nightlife, where you can find Club Babylon, a well-known venue created by the musical company Positive. The firm's label Double Moon has helped Murconderi and other figures of Turkey's contemporary music scene. But lack of public money has resulted in several talented artists being lost to the more commercial music industry.
There's a big live music scene happening, but is it creative enough? Probably not, because this kind of music can only be played in venues where the main concern is not commercial.
After having catapulted Turkish Western fusional music onto the international scene, Positive now aims to promote a more traditional sound.
To our very west is Europe. To our very east is God, chaos. We're just there. And from Iraq and Iran, you extend into India and Japan. So we're there in the center of the world. So we could really actually combine all kinds of artists from all over the world and have them work here and produce here. That would be the cultural revolution of Istanbul, is when this really happens.